we saw enough. That's, it is what it is. But other than that, outside of that, like I literally love this episode. Now, okay, for the haters, you ain't gonna like this regardless. First of all, there's an uber black Klingon who looks like he's from Kingston. All of his family look like Bob Marley and the Wailers. It's like I don't know what. Like I was like half ready for them around the fire to kick off like a beer dancehall tune. You know what I'm saying? I was waiting for like a Black Chinese. You know what I'm saying? Like, I really like seeing the family with locks. I did have a prediction of mine, a theory of mine debunked, as I originally did say. If y'all recall, I said that I thought that his mom might be Bajoran. Well, we know that is definitely not the case now. At least if that's his mom that was in that little thing. But the thing that I really loved about it, which I think was what this was meant to do, this is what Star Trek does so well, is it allegorized so many different things. There was a religious element, a cultural element, and there was also an identity element. And the identity element was the one that I really latched onto the most. When you're dealing with a guy who's essentially being told, this is what you are, so this is what you're supposed to be. And he's like, I don't know if I get down like that. You know what I'm saying? He's like, I don't think that really is me. You know, if I'm being honest with you, like that's just because you know Klingons like that doesn't mean that that's how I am and that's who I am. And hearing that argument and just seeing that kind of bit, like a lot of that is my upbringing. A lot of that is, look, Vince, you are a black man, and you know you should be strong and tough, and you got to go out and play football and beat up everybody who looks at your sister wrong and all of that. And yeah, I grabbed on to all of that, but sometimes I'd be like, I don't know if I'm doing this because it's me or it's because what I think is what I'm supposed to be doing. And here's a man who basically is essentially wrestling with what it is he is versus what he wants to be. And I think that that's a really good place for us to talk about this episode, because like you said, Ty, it's literally the Spock. It's literally the Spock argument. Spock is half human, half Vulcan. And I also want to address something else, because I know that there's going to be some hater in the comment section somewhere saying this is bullshit. Where's the phasers? Where's the warbirds? But there were many a episode in the original series, which most folks tend to go back to, where there was no action. In fact, I can tell you that there was a 2-part episode where Spock was essentially court-martialed. And they had to basically argue the point as to why they should be taking Captain Pike back to the planet that crippled him originally. There was very little action in this, and it was all about the allegory as to whether or not Captain Pike, who was telling Spock, no, don't take me back, but he's like, nah, I'm doing this. Spock went AWOL in this episode, by the way. I don't know if you go back and check it out. Like, Spock was like, nah, man. He took over for the captain without the captain knowing. Captain's like, hey, Captain hit up Sulu, was like, hey, Sulu, how's it looking on the trip to he's like, what are you talking about? He's like, we're on the way to He's like, Spock is commanding us. He's like, what? And then they took Spock to court. Spock took Pike all the way to the planet, and then basically turned himself in. He was like, all right, I've done that. Now I'd like to turn myself in to Starfleet for subordination. Now, I'm not sitting here trying to go Star Trek history with you. I'm just saying that in the world of Star Trek, this fits. This is not something that Star Trek doesn't do. If you only watch Voyager, then yeah, you might be accustomed to seeing a lot of action. But even in Voyager, as they said, Zyla, the doctor was like, I argued myself into existence. What's more Star Trek than that?
Period.
So I don't know, man. I feel like folks is really, but anyway, a couple things I want y'all to help me understand. All right. I've gotten a few questions and I may need a little assistance in making sense of these. So the first question is, of course, the parental situation. So I don't know if you noticed, they said that our boy Jaden has 2 fathers and a mother. Is this a Klingon polycule? I'm not sure exactly what's going on here. This is
the triad.
I remember
he called it a triad.
Yeah.
He did call it a triad, right? But mom, hey, mom.
Hey,